The latest addition to Samsung's Galaxy A line of premium mid-range devices is the Galaxy A8. In this video, let's check out if it's actually worth your time, attention, and more importantly, your money. Before we get to that, this is Ramesh from C4eTech, and you're watching my full review of the Galaxy A8. Let's get started. Let's start with the build. The A8 is Samsung's slimmest phone, coming in at 5.9mm, and despite that, Samsung's managed to pack in a 3050 mAh battery here. To the top, we have the earpiece, sensors, and a 5-megapixel front-facing camera. Lower below, a 5.7-inch display, and at the bottom, the familiar trio of recent apps, home and back keys. The home key on the A8 has a fingerprint sensor built in. It's also worth noting that the A8 does not have a notification LED either. To the back, we have a 16-megapixel rear camera flanked by the speaker and the LED flash. Lower below, we have the Samsung branding, and at the bottom, the Duo's branding. We have the secondary noise cancelling microphone up top, power button to the right, primary microphone, the micro USB port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack at the bottom. To the left, we have the volume rockers and two slots. The first is a nano SIM slot, the second is a hybrid slot. You could either add a second SIM or a micro SD card here. Being part of the A series, the Galaxy A8 sports an all-metal unibody build, meaning the 3050 mAh battery is sealed in. The build quality is excellent, the weight feels evenly distributed and the buttons feel tactile. With a thickness of 5.9mm and a weight of about 150 grams, the A8 feels sleek and premium in the hand. Now, let's take a look at what's under the hood. This Galaxy A8 is powered by the Exynos 5430 chip. That's 4 Cortex A15 cores clocked at 1.8 GHz each and 4 Cortex A7 cores clocked at 1.3 GHz each, coupled with a Mali T628 GPU and 2 GB of RAM. There's also an international variant that's powered by the Snapdragon 615 chip. Less than a year ago, the 5430 was considered a flagship chip, and that means it benchmarked quite well. And even with real-time scenarios like gaming, the A8 managed to hold its own. The audio via the rear speakers were clear, but the levels were a little low. But the audio via the earpiece and the headphones were quite good. Moving on, the Galaxy A8 sports a Gorilla Glass-covered 5.7-inch Super AMOLED display with a full HD resolution. That gives it a pixel density of 386 pixels per inch. I feel the white should have been a little whiter, but barring that, this is your regular AMOLED panel. Punchy colors, great viewing angles, and it's bright enough to be visible outdoors under direct sunlight. Let's get back to that 3050 mAh battery. The battery life on the Galaxy A8 is excellent. With my regular usage, I got 4 hours of screen on time. In other words, on a looping video playback test, the A8 lasted for about 11 hours before running out of juice. Samsung's also included power saving options. The ultra power saving mode helps you get the most out of this battery. With that, let's get to the cameras. The Galaxy A8 sports a 16-megapixel rear camera, but unlike the sensor on the S6 and the S6 Edge, this uses a 4:3 sensor, meaning you would have to lose resolution to shoot widescreen. The pictures shot with this camera retain a decent amount of detail, but the dynamic range leaves something to be desired. The images felt a little washed out, but the shutter speeds were fast and the most common modes, including the Pro mode, are present here. This camera can also shoot 1080p video at 30 FPS, but again the dynamic range is found lacking. There's a lot of software over-sharpening at play here. Similarly, the 5-megapixel front camera, while yes, it uses a wide-angle lens, the images are mediocre at best. Overall, a middling camera here on the A8. With that, we get to the software. The Galaxy A8 runs on Android 5.1 Lollipop with Samsung's Touchwiz UI on top. This is Touchwiz similar to what we have seen on the S6 and the S6 Edge, meaning it's slimmer than before and thus more responsive. Multi-window is present. You can run two apps side by side or have them float on the screen, resize them, minimize them, and so on. We can quickly launch the camera by double pressing the home key, triple press it, and you can have the screen shrink to aid with single-handed usage. The fingerprint sensor also works great, similar to the ones found on the S6 or the S6 Edge. The A8, like the S6 and the S6 Edge, has support for themes. This allows for a lot of customization. You can change the look and feel of the general UI, including the notification drawer and icons. Overall, the user experience here is fabulous. Apps open up quick, multitasking is great, everything is smooth, there's absolutely no lag. Once you've turned off the flipboard, that is. The A8 performs quite similarly to Samsung's flagships. That's something we very rarely see. It's also nice to see that Samsung hasn't skimped out on much here. USB OTG is on board, the auto brightness sensor is present and works well, haptic feedback. I understand this is 2015 and I really shouldn't be mentioning basics like auto brightness sensor, the haptic feedback being present, as opposed to a phone that costs around $500 or 32,500 rupees in India. But that's Samsung for you. Generally, Samsung's gone the negative route with regards to their mid-end segment. They omit a few basic functionalities to differentiate and justify the price tag. The A8 for the most part is a brilliant phone with no compromises. Yes, the camera could have been a little better. They could have thrown in a notification LED. And like I said, for the most part, it's a great phone. And for the first time in as long as I can remember, I don't actually mind using a non-flagship Samsung phone as my daily driver. So, would I recommend getting the A8? Well, I'd say the offerings from the likes of OnePlus and Xiaomi still offer better value for your money. But there are quite a few people who want to stay away from flash sales and the invites and prefer the safety of a tier 1 brand with an extensive service chain. If you're one of those, then yes, the A8 is for you. So anyway, if you want to pick one up, I'll leave direct links in the description below. So I guess that's pretty much it, guys. Give us a thumbs up if you feel we deserved it, and please do subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, this is Ramesh from C4eTech. You guys have a fantastic day.